Interested in stepping up your game with a sugar wash? Stay tuned.
That's the kind of booze that they serve around here. Made a way back in top of them hills where there's plenty of sunshine still.
141 proof.
It's an amazing thing. I just had to let you hear that. That's my Audible PID that's working. My microcontroller, amplifier, SD card reader, time of flight sensor. Just got a few more programming issues to run through, and I've got that running right now on a 9-volt battery. That's it. Hey, let's talk about why we're here. Welcome to everybody. Please get an opportunity, subscribe. Yes, like us if you have a chance. It's just a little click. We're going to do an inverted sugar. We're going to step up our game. Now, we talked about this. If you look back on this video, this is the sugars for the introductory videos that we did. And this is number 3. And we discussed everything you need to know about sugar, what the molecules are, why they're made the way, you know, all that stuff. And we actually talked about inverted sugar. And what is inverted sugar? Well, inverted sugar is where we take that disaccharide, that glucose-fructose connection, and we break it. And we do that because we know that yeast just love glucose. They eat that first. So why not separate that complex sugar molecule into smaller molecules so that your yeast are extremely happy and they don't have to do the work. We're going to do the work for them, okay? Now, up front, let me tell you this. Before you even start to ask, are you going to get more alcohol? No, you can only get so much from so much sugar, period, okay? What you're going to experience, though, is you'll experience a cleaner, more robust, healthier yeast colony, but a more robust fermentation because they don't have to work as hard and they won't be as stressed. And a side note, look, you know, once you've got some inverted sugar, you put a little bit of bottle, you know, and you can, it's real sweet. It's good for you. And you can use that to sweeten your coffee, sweeten anything you got. So we're here to show you how to make that. We're going to make some. And here's what I want to do. I want to make enough for 2 more batches. Now remember, I always go into this saying that my average when it comes to a sugar wash is 2 pounds per gallon. So, and I'm going to make 2 5.5, 6 gallon. And again, these are just estimates, you know, at the end, because I'm going to use my hydrometer. Work with me. So I'm going to invert 24 pounds of sugar. Now you can do 12 pounds of sugar. I'll put the recipe right there. So if you want to do just like a half a pound or 255 grams of inverted sugar, you want a small amount, you can do that. I just upgraded this through simple math because it's a linear problem. Another story. All right, here's what we got. I've got 2 gallons of hot water. Now, remember, I'm using hot water because I'm using crystallized sugar. It helps it get hotter quicker, and it also starts that liquefaction process with sugar because it's not cold water. I've got 24 pounds of sugar. I think that cost me like 11 bucks. I like to tell you about that because it kind of gives you a data point, an idea what this cost you. We just went to my local, you see, we have H-E-B in Texas, and that's our local grocery store that's throughout, and they sell these big ones here. This one is 212 grams, 7.5 ounces of citric acid, $3. Goes a long way. Yeah, $3. So right now I'm into it for what, 14 bucks, plus whatever you figure hot water costs you. I've got my BAP, big ass pot. Just because I happen to have one, you don't have to have a great big one. And I've got my induction, my New Wave induction cooktop because I'm going to use that in order to do this heating process. And we're going to get on with it right now. Okay, there went my 2nd gallon. So I've got 2 gallons of water in here. And that's plenty for this 24 pounds or 10.89 kilograms of table sugar. All I'm going to do now is I'm going to add the sugar here, and then I'll have it turned on, and I'm going to turn this puppy on high because what I want to do is I want to start to bring that to a boil. And I'll show you that. We'll get a good close-up, and I mean, all it's going to look like is sugar water boiling. Now, I use a whisk, and I just start to, I mix it up so that that sugar can liquefy on its own, and we're getting ready. We're just going to add some citric acid. And in this particular case, with that much sugar in there, we require to have quite a bit of citric acid. Now you're going to think that this is not a whole lot, but trust me, the citric acid goes a long way. 3 teaspoons. There you go. And this is actually, a teaspoon is 5 milliliter. So 3 teaspoons of citric acid or cream of tartar. Use it sparingly. And what this is going to do, this will actually drop the pH of this dramatically, provide an acidic environment, and is a catalyst for that separation of those two molecules. Now, we're going to let this come up to a simmer. Once we bring it up, and we're going to bring it up slowly, once we bring it up slowly and we get this to simmer, at that point you need to avoid stirring it. Because if you got the whisk in there and you start to stir it, it has a tendency to aid the sugar to crystallize, and you don't want that to happen. Okay? So once you get it good and mixed up, then just leave it alone. Bring it up to a simmer, and then adjust the temperature and maintain that simmer for 20 to 30 minutes or so. You can let it go longer. Now here's what happens. I got sugar all over me. Okay, after 20 to 30 minutes, you'll get this lightly goldish color. The longer you allow that to simmer, it doesn't get any better. It just starts to get darker. Because, you know, sugar under heat starts to caramelize. So it'll get darker and darker and darker. So if you want light inverted sugar or if you want dark inverted sugar, it all depends on how long you allow it to simmer. You can let it simmer up to like 2 hours. Now, we're going to have to achieve a temperature somewhere around 230 some degrees Fahrenheit or 114 centigrade. And you're going to ask, I know you're going to ask, well, I thought water boiled at 212 or 100. Well, yeah, but remember, it's just like when we have that alcohol water mixture, it vaporizes, the boiling point changes. So when you have a lot of sugar in here, now it becomes a negative, I guess you'd call it a negative azeotrope, because the boiling point is higher than the constituents, which is water and sugar. Water boils at 212, but when you add a whole bunch of sugar to it, the boiling point goes up. We're not going to boil, but we're still going to be at 230 odd degrees while it's simmering, or 114 degrees centigrade. Just an interesting factoid. We'll be back when this gets warm. Thought I'd step in here for just a second. We're at 202 degrees, and it's taken about 45 minutes or so to get there. I'm going up slowly, and it's not starting to simmer yet, so yeah, we're right. A boiling point is going to be different, and so we got a ways to go. I did want to show you something though. For those who use, you know those handheld laser temperature sensors. And I've gotten a lot of emails. They'll tell me I'm pointing it there, and I'm gonna point this at the pot and turn it on, and it tells me it's 85 degrees, but my probe's telling me it's 204.3 degrees. Now, why do you think that's different? No, well, your laser, that's a reflective surface is what it is. Now I've got the sticker on this side, and then when I point it to a black spot on the sticker, I get, 186. So these are nice to have, but they're not as reliable as a thermometer. That's the point I wanted to make. We are right now at 213 degrees. You can see that. And you can see that it's not boiling yet. It's just, I'm starting the simmer. And that's what it looks like. Yeah, I've got some marbles down there, so I get a sort of like boiling beads in a way. I got that idea from Mark. And that just gives me a smooth boil. Right now, I've added a second probe. What I want to do is try to calibrate, make sure that I'm reading actually right. And I'm reading 101.6 and I'm reading 101. So I've got the right temperature going. Well, I'm still climbing. And I still don't have a full boil. So, and this one is actually, there you go, 215 degrees Fahrenheit. So we're above boiling. This thing is coming along good. I'm starting to get a pretty good simmer. I've got to bring it up to about like 114-ish in Celsius and 230-ish in Fahrenheit. Hold that there for about 30 minutes. That'll do it. Well, my friends, we are finished. And because of the volume I had here, yep, I lost a full inch of volume. So, and that boiled off really well. I got it, I was able to hold it at about 225 as it simmered and just dissipated. So I've got a really nice yellowish hue here, and now I got to let this thing cool down. It's going to take a while. But what I'll do now, see, is now that I have this, well, we start out with 7.6 liters. I've probably got 7 liters now. I just cut this in half, and I've got 2 batches of sugar wash ready to ferment. And again, we'll use our hydrometer to check it, so we'll know where we're at on our scale. Oh, I'm extremely happy, and this is relatively simple. Well, before I go any further, now this is it. I've got it cooled, and I just wanted to show you something. Look at the color of that, and that is like a thick syrup now. But that's inverted sugar. So for stepping up your game, invert your sugar. Happy distilling.